Ladies and gentlemen, well, it's the start of the week and it's a Monday. Maybe some people don't like to be around at that time, but well, we're here to brighten that up with a good match of ESA Cup number 9. It's going to be a beautiful day. It's going to be some interesting matches. But before we announce the teams, before we get to it, I'm going to be Buffo Bob leading you through these matches. And today is going to be Voigt's second cast. And how are we doing?
I'm fine, I think.
You think?
I'm doped by painkillers, but it's fine. ESA, will cheer me up probably. It's gonna be a good match actually. How are you?
It's going to be a good match indeed. And who are these two mysterious teams that we're going to be watching today? Well, it's going to be none other than Entropy facing off against Molotov Gaming, or MVG for short. Now, any thoughts here on these two teams, Void?
Well, it is like Kelson said before the stream, a German derby. Both teams are German and both teams are long-lasting teams. Not the same roster, but the name stays on, which isn't so common in the console league, of course. And they met each other before multiple times, actually. Do you know how it went? Or
Not, I don't think so.
okay, so they met in total of I think it was yeah, it's 8 times actually, and Entropy won 5 games.
Okay.
So it is gonna be familiar ground for them.
All right, so both of these teams familiar with each other. Now, of course, with that, we also have to get some predictions in to see what everyone's really like leaning in towards. And you went with Entropy, and so did the majority of these teams. But me and Bose, we're the underdogs here. We want to stick with a bit of a true story. And yeah, of course, the odds are against them. Like you said, it should be in their favor statistically, and of course, with their history of how they get or how they have played already. It's honestly to be their match. Although we're going to have to see, time will tell. And with it, in the meanwhile, let's check out the maps that we're going to be seeing here today. All
Well,
right.
we start with Bank, which is Entropy's pick. It doesn't surprise me much. They're actually good on every map. Like they're generally a good team. But MVG then goes with Chalet, which I think could be playing for their cards as Entropy. Like the only map they lost really in ESA this time was Chalet. And they decided Skyscraper, which I think is better for Entropy again.
A nice little touch of interest here is going to be that every single team that has had the option of picking which side they want to start on ended up turning on attack, which is going to be very interesting. So MVG
That's
on the
true.
first one went on attack, so did Entropy on the second, and MVG on the decider. Now, just for some context, let's take a look. I do believe we have a nice little panel to see the statistics of these two teams, or at least what is as of current. And what you're seeing on the screen for Entropy, I do want to keep in mind that currently on the visual, you see Ishan on the Frost. Well, he won't be playing. It's going to be Shishi, who isn't on the statistics. And for MVG, Nikon isn't going to be playing, but is going to be replaced by Tats. So just a little, just so we don't get confused when we get into the match. But yet again, this is going to be interesting. New maps. And you know what I'm loving? I'm loving Bank. I'm loving Skyscraper here because Chalet, it's fresh, it's cool, it's chill, but it's not no Borrigan-ish map. It's no clubhouse. No, of course I love these maps, but at the same time, Void, yeah, they're a bit too common. And I think Bank is really something that you don't get to see that often.
Definitely. When we are looking at the player stats, I just wanted to point out that Nikon, who isn't playing today, is the only like player from MBG we
Oh
can
God.
see right now has a positive KD. So that's going to be interesting. Well, Entropy has at least three players with a positive one. So let's see. KD
That's
is not everything, but
yeah, but now I kind of want to revoke my bet. Like I'm all for the underdog story, but oof, oof. Okay, come on, MVG, Molotov Gaming, you got this, boys. But yeah, we're gonna have to see. I mean, currently we're still waiting for all the players to get in the lobby. I do believe we're just waiting on one singular one. It's 4 on one side, 5 on the other, and in the meanwhile, like we said, are you going to be sticking to your let's do a little friendly bet, as I always tend to, between caster v caster? Whatever you pick, I'll go for the opposite, so it's a bit more interesting. And are you going to be sticking with your vote on Entropy?
it's actually a bit hard because at first I wanted to vote for MVG just because for the reason that, for example, recently when the base deck breach LAN was, they won in the grand final against Entropy,
Oh,
0-2. So I wanted to, pick MVG, but looking at the map veto, I will stick with Entropy, definitely. They will have the upper hand here.
okay. Then I'm gonna have to go with Molotov Gaming, and I'm gonna hope and twist my fingers that they just do manage to bring out whatever they brought for the grand finale and have it show up yet again. And of course, Lobby is ready, and I do believe we don't have confirmation from both teams. Yeah, just waiting on hand cams, waiting for all the confirmation. You gotta be secured when going into leagues like this. But in the meanwhile, well, wait, this is a second cast. You had one. When was the previous one?
Last Thursday, yeah.
Last Thursday. So this is your second one. How does it feel? How's it going into it?
I'm still very nervous, especially because like you're a different caster than Mikey, of course. So I gotta,
Yeah,
keep up.
it's you gotta really get used to the feeling, but with overtime, with like everything, experience is needed, and it's gonna be lovely. It's gonna be a great time here today. And still, I'm gonna ask from the production yet again. Hand cams, what's the progress on it? Still waiting on one. It's always that last one. It's a bit of a curse. It's really stalling us out. Players players, you better not make bad games. These have to be now interesting games. They've already stalled us for long enough. Now they have to make absolute plays. And yet again, I think everyone watching, everyone here is going to have to agree that a one-sided story is not something we're keen on seeing. We want to have a nice match between these two. Hopefully not all 15 rounds throughout all three matches. That's just a bit too long. But, just some interesting clutches, opportunities and such. And you have how much experience, Voigt, do you have with these two teams personally?
Oh, like not so much as a caster or observer, but as a producer from ESA, of course. And I observed Entropy and
Mhm.
VCL once, which didn't end well, but that's a different story. Um, so not much, but I do think it's going to be a tough game for either team, especially because I just checked in my notes. I'm a bit worried about the Chalet pick from MVG because they lost twice. They played it every round till now in ESA, and they lost twice, 3-7 versus LDL and Asgard. Just like Entropy, by the way, they lost Chalet twice as well. So that's going to be very interesting. But we are heading into Bank, so maybe let's focus on this one.
Yes, we will, putting our eyes on the prize and seeing what bands are going to come out at first, because that's where the starting stage is, the starting point. And with it, Voight, you're the analyst here. You're going to have to take a bit of color and me on play by play. Any thoughts going into these operator bands here?
Oh yeah, I always predict them. I think Entropy is gonna ban Brava, MVG is gonna
Ooh.
ban Ying, then Azami, and last ban is gonna be Valkyrie.
No Monty band. That's interesting. I was gonna expect the Monty band. I feel like Monty's just such a decisive operator nowadays that it's kind of
Yeah.
shivering to not even ban him. And the first one is going to be Brava. Oh my god, that's already one for one. Looking for three more here. Void, if you get this, it's a bingo. It's a 4 for 4. That's gonna be the crowd cheering you on already and
I'm,
coming in.
I'm a bit unsure about
Oh
the
my god.
Azami ban, but maybe, it's Bank, so she has some uses, but Monty would be a better ban actually. But
I
I'm gonna stick with Azami, of course.
I feel kind of bad. My thoughts going into this was Monty, Dokubi, Fenrir, and Azami. So Vigil.
Vigil,
Okay,
Boss
that's
G.
true. The boss G met him. I, I,
Yeah.
I'm sad about that gun. It was such a fun gun back in the day. Now it's just terror, a horror game. With it though, three bands are through, looking for the last one on defense. And that's going to be get us a bit of a drum roll in last 3 seconds before we get into the prep phase. None other than Kate. Another interesting one, seeing, of
Okay.
course, hatches are quite in play, especially on the downstairs side, even when you're playing first floor, if it tends to come to it. So honestly, not too much of a surprise there. But there's a lot of picks. It's a real gamble going into these operator bands. And with this, we're going finally into the prep phase. We're here, and with it, any comment on the current lineup we're looking at here, especially on the defense, since they can't switch anymore?
It's interesting because, you know, for Entropy, my first ban I wanted to predict was Myra, but then I crossed it out for Valkyrie, and now they're playing both. So I had very weak choices in getting it right. But in general, it's low-key default. Like, Myra is very strong on the basement side, and Tachanka and Goyo are just for area denial, which is needed for that side.
Without a doubt. Yeah, Tachanka, I mean, the Shumika launchers, they can last you up to a minute, especially when you're there really pushing in through that blue side. You completely shut them out. It's good area denial. It's good at denial of the plant itself. And Goyo, it's basically the same thing. Now, coming up on the attackers in the meanwhile, the prep phase is now finished, and the locks are set. So, Flora's Twitch, we already have 2 drones alongside the Hibana, possibly for hatches, an IQ and a Grim. Any thoughts here, or is it just the same old, same old? Gonna have to double check. Boyd, are we still there?
Yeah. Sorry, I was writing things down.
Oh, okay. All good, all good. In the meanwhile, though, having some drones in, gotta get that information slowly ticking. As of course, the attackers, you don't really want to be shabby with your work, with your information gathering. Clearing out these rumors is gonna be key. As of course, spawning out one that I do believe that's gonna be a Goyo, and just now slowly moving up. Also, having control of this top floor here is going to be key.
Most definitely. Which is low-key interesting. Of course, we have the Heartbreach gadget, but there's... Oh, that's the drone. But they still use the Heartbreach gadget, the can opener. Which makes sense. They don't have a kite, so, you know... Oh, wait, they have a Hibana. I completely ignored her. I just needed that sound clue to see that. That's good. Very good analytics. I'm proud of myself.
Well, I'll shake your hand on it. We'll give each other a high five virtually. Although, meanwhile, though, you noticed it. That's the Hibana starting to open up these hatches, and since the Kate is banned, in the meanwhile, though, what is happening? Shishi on 2 HP. Oh my god! Running through the fire and the flames, already on the brink of death. These Goyos upsetting him, and of course, Shishi, he had to gamble here. Hatches were open on the side of security. It was all raining down on him, and with the HP he's standing, he's going to be very uncomfortable going into any fight. Hopefully that C4 is going to be lasting him for a kill, if not anything else. Down to the last minute, though. Slowly start to take a bit more of an aggressive approach. These attackers starting to scout out, get these mirrors beautiful advantage using that Twitch drone, and now completely surrounded here, waiting on this last drop.
Their fire made more damage to their own team than it did to the enemies. So I hope that's gonna change, but it's also perfect how they are destroying the side from inside, giving them an advantage while they're getting fragged first. That was not their plan.
Definitely not. Plant is going down, so are smokes out, completely blinding this defensive side. The opening was brought on over to Orange Team, aka MVG. Twitch is off, IQ is too, but refract quickly, and just a quick trade back not long after. Coming down the hatch, that's going to be a nice one over for the Grim to get that 552 commando running. Last down to the 15 seconds. You got to get that plant in, and you got to get some frags. That's going to be the idea. That's going to be the plan. You got to watch out for verticality, and that's going to be Afla with not only one, but now hiding away. The final few seconds here are going to be completely denying any type of attempt. It's a valid one of that, but playing off of the hatches, you opened up yourself a bit too
No way.
late.
He could have sticked it, maybe.
He could have, maybe, yeah.
Oh, I hate when that happens. Because I want them to stick it. Just stick it. Pros don't fake. Even though that wasn't really a fake because you lost. But, you know, take the chance. Why not?
It would have been really hard to go forward from it, but I think, yeah, the Goyo definitely didn't know where the plan was even happening, so honestly, the ideal was possible, without a doubt.
Well, the round was generally good looking for MVG. It just fell apart at some point. Like, they had such a good backup, but the C4 and the fire probably, all of that destroyed their plans. But luckily, Entropy can't go back downstairs, so they're on second floor, where area denial and Tachanka and everything isn't gonna be picked, and that important. Instead, we see Azami, one of my bans, again. And the Frost. Frost and Legion, pretty default on this side.
I'm interested in seeing the Frost. Of course, seeing as how windows really are quite common, going towards this printer side, having them below the side windows. Frost is an interesting operator. Legion as well. I think Afflet had a good pick here, whatever the strategy may be. Seeing as how much angles are possible to really be approached from with MVG's side, Legion's great at denying. You put up a glue, you get the sound cue, you know the Legion is off, and at the same time, you're kind of slowing down the enemies. So great effort there. In the meanwhile, though, going for those exact windows. This is a map where you can play off of those windows. It's not necessarily as good as maybe Chalet upstairs, but it's still quite a bunch of pressure to work with.
I always like seeing Frost getting picked, especially after that nerf she got. It was a big nerf. But she is still valuable, but people seem to forget that. And if she's in the right hands, it's gonna be perfect.
Meanwhile, though, while getting our things together, a bunch of time here for the attackers. We can see them repelling it slowly. Being very cautious, but patient at the same time. These opportunities for opening kills could be huge. You gotta start clearing out Afflet. I mean, here below in Archive C could be a bit of a danger, especially when you go for that late round square take, or whatever you go just indicating square at all is going to be where Afflet is going to be quite a troublesome foe, and this is going to be the plan that currently Molotov are going to be sticking with.
They're super slow. No one's inside, like in the building even, and half the round's already gone while they get their first pick. Maybe that's the plan. Maybe I should just keep my mouth shut. It seems to work out for now, but time is a big enemy when you're on attack and the plant isn't down. So it's gonna be maybe a bit messy.
It's gonna get quite messy indeed. Of course, Rise is going to be finding the Thatcher. Breach is open, so utility won't matter that much, but you can run into these head holes that is being looked upon by the recruit, the reworked recruits on the side of Molotov. They gain themselves some sort of leverage here, and the 3v4 is brought and established. Flash is coming out. There's going to be no Wamai or Jaeger anymore to distract them. You come out swinging, but it's Afflet who takes the first pint of blood in the meanwhile. Aggression has really slowed down here. The pacing is, but it starts getting picked up. That's going to be just with another. Finds Jewett. And now it's double the man count over for Molotov as they get a good round in. But one is downed in return. And in the meanwhile, it's all down to Becky here, the Azami player. That Russian SMG won't be looking like any good for you if you cannot watch your 6 with it around for Molotov Gaming as they just equalize it right after losing one.
I didn't expect it to be still that coordinated. Like, they did it perfect. They took their time, but it worked out like they planned, probably, because Entropy just fell apart, which could be the side, though. Like, Basement, in my opinion, is definitely the strongest side on Bank. So if they go on second floor again and it, like, goes the same way like it did right now, I do believe MolotovGang could get swap advantage, because they can't always go to basement, you know, so they don't get that free win ticket, more or less. So yeah, I'm amazed by MolotovGang's way how they approach that. Oh my god.
I liked how they punished Entropy there.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw Entropy, they were kind of confused at times, running in front of head holes that they built themselves in front of Breach. And Molotov, they saw the opportunity, they shot their bullets, they went in and really used that cutoff rotation to their advantage, which honestly is the reason you go for these attacking strategies in the first place.
Yeah, I hope Entropy realized that, because if they did not and repeat those mistakes, they're gonna get punished over and over again, as MVG showed in like past matches they had against Entropy already. And yeah, again, I'm surprised that Entropy let that happen, because they are not new enemies. Again, oh damn, I didn't expect that.
No one did. What they didn't expect is Shishi also taken off. He's now found, and but none other than Molotov. And this is another really strong thing that I picked up from earlier's patch. Molotov, even if they lose that first player or that second, third, you name it, they return that fire quickly. They make sure to gain back what they lost. And that's a really strong point to put into their, to really complement their playstyle.
I like that they are playing, like they only played 3 rounds now, but they are playing a lot of Striker. You don't see Striker that much. Of course you see the defender, I don't know the name right now.
Sentinel?
Sentinel, right. Sentry.
Oh, it's Sentry, not Sentinel. Valorant
Yeah.
terms. Brain mixed up.
Yeah. But you know, I like it that you see the new recruit.
Should we do?
Rise with a double kill. He is just on fire right now.
It's still
Keeping
possible.
that place secure.
It's still possible he gets an ace here. He's looking for 3
True.
more. Look at him. That 416 carbine is serving them well. Ah, well, there it is. The ace now, of course, unsecured. Becky spots out 1. And that's exactly what the bullets are going to be intended for. And a nice pick. And now Entropy, looking at a familiar position that Molotov were holding on earlier, that 4v2. Looking quite strong. It's very early on, but then tense action.
Oh.
My God, Jewett. Wow, taking out the head here. Rivara and a nice swing, and it's brought down to a 1v3 just like earlier, although Jewett, he is having none of it.
This time Entropy punished them for their mistakes, and I like it. Entropy immediately realized, okay, last round was not it. We need to change something. They did change it, won, and now they can go back to the comfort side, which is basement. Again with Tachanka and Goyo, the same lineup basically. Let's hope that they are actually hitting the enemies with it and not themselves. But what I like about that matchup is that they are getting intel with the Valkyrie, but also robbing intel from the opponents with Mozzie. Like, for me, that's kind of the perfect lineup for basement, because traps are useful as well. But again, in basement, you don't need to occupy it that much, because vertical play isn't really happening only by the hatches, so you don't need to be careful of a bug, Brava or Sledge, for example.
It's very interesting now that you mention this verticality. Entropy up until now haven't put up a resistance above side itself, but have rather been a bit more keen on retake. They go upstairs, they go off of hatches later on once Molotov is already pushing site. And the fact that Molotov doesn't have a dedicated player upstairs, or that said so player is taken out, is quite frightening. Because if you allow the defense to play against you on verticality that you established yourself, it's honestly just allowing them to gain so much pressure to be put on your shoulders. And that is a rough way. Entropy, it's good for them. Don't get me wrong. Molotov, they need to switch it up. They got a round under their belt, and they did it well. Now they just need to improve what they didn't earlier on, and if, of course, they can really bring that punishing factor back, I think we can see an equalization for the second time in a row here.
Oh, definitely wouldn't surprise me this time that if we would go to a third map, again, they're pretty even though the stats might look a bit different. But, to that statement. But I do believe they are pretty even. I'm not gonna be surprised if it actually goes to Skyscraper.
I'd hope so. It would be fantastic to see. You said the
Of
score
course.
is a bit better for Entropy, at least in the past. I think Molotov really want to even this out. I think they want to get that 5-4, slowly start climbing the ladder and show that they're not to be made fun of. They're definitely not to be underestimated. They don't want to be the underdogs anymore. Now they want to have themselves a nice position. But a quick drop from the Grim, throwing it all out. Information there. The can opener is 2, and slowly starts reaching into sight.
Well, the Goyo charges are almost all gone already, thanks to the Twitch. While half the round is over again. MVG takes their time again, but we saw already that this could end deadly for Entropy.
Waiting for an opportunity here. The breach is open. So sight. That's the last Goyo, I believe. That's also the Flores, found by Rise. Lots him out. It's the target, just like Avla, directly onto Just. These defenders slowly make an approach upstairs. They start climbing these stairs slowly but surely. Really get the proactivity going against these attackers. Leaving them in a 5v3, this is going to be bad for Molotov here. Even though the Bees are coming out, so are the Shamikas slowly starting to limit Twitch's movement around this hatch. In the meanwhile, though, time is ticking out as well, down to the last 35 seconds, and the breach, not breach, plant is going down, but in the meanwhile, so is that so-called Twitch that was planting it down, and a refrag comes out from the Grim. A great one at that, although it's still a 2v4, looking at a similar situation. Yet again, not good at all. A drop comes out, a bit of a random one. You're not looking at the information you're given, and Rise, he's going to be punishing you off of it. Now it's Tatters player we didn't see the stats for earlier, and can he prove himself to be a strong point of this team, the leading factor? I don't think so. It's 7 seconds here. Rise, a beautiful performance as he finds the third in the round, and round number 3 for Entropy.
I do believe this time MVG took too much time, of course, which led it actually to be messy. They did it better 2 rounds before, but also when you look at the stats, right? Oh, you're seeing a new side. Very excited for that actually, because second floor is different. We get a pause, but that gives us an opportunity to talk about the fact that first floor, when you go to the middle floor, basically on bank, you need to actually deal with verticality, which we didn't have at all. So I do predict some trap players, definitely.
Without a doubt. Now, yeah, speaking of that verticality, right now it happened again. I feel like the defenders really just play against these attackers, even when they're above, even when they're on even field. It's just the one-sided fight. Entropy here, they manage to just really outfrag in situations, and the second they get that leading factor, I mean, they snowballed it. It was a 5v3 down to a, what, a 1v4, something like it? That is absolutely crazy. That has happened for 3 rounds already, and okay, yeah, it's very early on. It's the first 4 rounds. This is the real limit where I think teams should start picking up the pace. I think Molotov here, you've had enough time to realize what Entropy is playing like as of current. You've had games with them in the past. Now you need to start acting upon it slowly, because if you don't, well, the score is going to be set in stone quite quickly.
Yeah, definitely. Entropy is not a team that will let you get points for free or rounds for free. So MVG gotta wake up. We can't see the stats like the KD right now in the game, but I catched it before we went into the pause that MVG has barely any player who looks like they are into the game right now. Like, they seem to not really know what to do, like that one drop from the Grim, not
Yeah.
looking at anywhere where the information could have been. So, like, right now you can see it, Variox is the only one who's positive right now, with Yuki being 0-4. And it's already been 4 rounds, of course, which means they need to wake up right now, like ASAP, because it's not a lot of rounds anymore if Entropy can keep steamrolling over them.
What scares me about that so much is that Entropy are going off of their strategy, off of the basis, off of the game. Molotov, they give me some sort of premises that they play off of hope. And it's
Yeah.
not good. You need information. They get it nicely in the very early stages, and we've seen that Molotov are really quick with getting information on clearing out spaces all the way up until site itself. Once they get into site, that's where I feel like the chaos really unfolds, and Entropy, they just switch it up. Although in the meanwhile, Molotov, it's a good start here. Going to be finding Afla, although the Goro canisters are already set down. That's going to be a gun less for Entropy.
Bomb located by attacker.
With that Goyo, the only player who's actually playing upstairs to prevent the verticality for now is gone. The only one we got is Oryx, of course, who can quickly get upstairs. But Entropy, once again, is playing for the recapture instead of the defending of the verticality. Which is interesting, because once that floor is open, like the floor on the second floor, of course, we might get a problem. That was pretty unnecessary, but I feel that. I do that a lot as well. Just straight up to the Mozzie sign.
Well, you get rid of the pest, but you could have just kept you can keep your drone and just get rid of the pest manually, although seeing as how information has been lacking from Molotov, it's yet again questionable. You know, it's not a ranked match. This is competitive. You do want to keep as much drones in, even if it's a distraction. Even whatever the case, as much utility on your side is going to be great. In the meanwhile, though, C4, some explosive action over here for Sheen. Shishi, I do believe it was. Yes, that's going to be the Mozzie, bringing it on to Yuki, who's going to be the soft breach, and that's going to be quite needed, although the Ram is still there for backup.
Well, Entropy has the intel that MVG is missing, as you can see on the top right. They only got 1 drone left each player, and 4 of them are still in pocket, so they don't have flank watch or anything. They are literally living off hopes, as you said.
It's not good. It's not ideal. Not a single bit. Oh, canister's still up. This is the Zami. You wanted her out? I think everyone does now. Rise, he also wants one out as well. That's going to be Tat. In the meanwhile, a double kill is going to be traded out. Molotov, they gain some sort of advantage back, really pushing their buttons. That's going to be Entropy facing the consequences, of course, of Tom's actions. 3v2 verticality is established. You got to start pushing onto site. Time is going to be a deadly point, and with 30 seconds remaining, you're going to have to make some sort of advancement. Some information over to Shishi is delivered here as he pulls out that red dot. A sin of a scope, but if he can put it to work, who's going to be stopping him here? Outlast 20 seconds. Slowly ticking down. You got to make your advancements into sight. Gridlock's tracks are going to be stopping them slowly. In the meanwhile, it's going to be the Gridlock, the so-called Just, getting a second into the round, and it's all left down to Jewett, who's trying to deny some sort of rotation of the diffuser into the building, although it doesn't matter. It's already going down, but he gets a nice head peek over towards this Gridlock. It's a balloon pop without a doubt, although still to remain, and now you have to play off of advantage that you don't have. That information, which Molotov, they're pretty comfortable. They need to hold about 2 angles, and they've gotten themselves a nice deal set in. Sazami barriers blocking your way of getting into it, and you watching the floor isn't going to be an ideal situation, as of course finished off by Molotov as they secure the second round.
I didn't really expect MVG to win this. Of course, I might be judging too fast, as you can tell by at least now. But I didn't expect them anyways, because again, they took so much time to actually execute, but that's like, it feels like 50-50. Either the late execute is going to be super messy and they lose, or it's going to be still coordinated and they win. That's just all I'm seeing right now from the late executes from MVG.
We'll have to see. It's the last round of the first half here, before we're going to a role swap. And I'm wondering how this is going to affect the teams as well. Because here, the best outcome for MVG is a 3-3. If it goes 4-2 for Entropy, they're going to be really good. Going onto this attack, we've seen their gameplay is good, their gunplay even better, and that complements attack because that's where you're given the better guns, that's where you're given those gadgets to really go off of frags itself. So, Entropy, if they get that 4-2, they're comfortable. Their pick is gonna be how they probably wanted it to be in the first place. Now, out of this prep phase, slowly start holding some spawn piece, MVG. And well, not being too patient, the castle, Jewett here is going to be revealing to everyone that he's directly on that window, although nothing major as of yet.
It might have been the better option, who knows? It's always high risk, high reward, but in the end, I don't think he would have gotten anything. I don't think any attacker was like, I don't know, at the same angle or something.
Yeah.
We can see Azami here. Do they know? First frag. It's pretty fast. This time, the first frag is actually on MVG's side. That's pretty rare. It only happened once in this entire match.
And that was the previous round as well. That was the round they won. They started off very repetitive action. Traditional one of that. Of course, they continue that type of spree. We're looking at an equalization. 3-3, a draw in the first half. We need to get to that point at first hand, making a lot of real cutoff on the rotation, opening windows, breaches, at the same time pushing so many major areas like square and lobby that maybe Entropy is just going to be just a bit overwhelmed.
Well, they still all outside. That's nothing new by this point. Like by now, that's nothing new. They're always outside. They want the 1 minute mark before they enter, it feels like. But it worked out sometimes. It worked out sometimes. While it seems to work out quite well right now for Virix, who just goes in, gets a double kill, but gets refragged by Becky. Now a 1v4. Becky has 8 HP and loses. That was quick. It was again super quick executed. I feel bad for our observer.
That's what we were missing in these attacks. Molotov,
yeah.
This time they didn't go off of hope. They went in for swings. Okay, I don't know how much information was certain, but even with the last kill, even with the play of the game in that round, we saw that they were holding angles. We saw some breaches over towards lobby side. We saw so much pressure that Entropy they were cornered. It was really a gamble if you're gonna run into an angle of the opponent when walking past that door or not. And that's that type of pressure that Molotov have won their 3 rounds with, and it's definitely complementative. Although, Entropy, while they have gained their 3 rounds, now it's the role swap. Now they're on attack. They're going to need to push in to Molotov's cozy camp, and with it, we're going to have to see what type of change of pace will be between these two teams.
Well, MVG chooses the more unfamiliar side, I guess. They went on first floor as their first choice, which wasn't happening for Entropy, and I can understand why. Of course, the verticality I spoke about is a thing here, but they also got the bandit, so they don't want it to be breached, which is interesting. Entropy didn't do it, but they got a Hibana and an Ace, so they are planning to do it probably. So a good pick. Maybe they could read it from Entropy as they met them before, or maybe it was just more or less a lucky pick, you know, lucky counter.
B-Boys. Case in point being right now that MVG are going to be picking first or middle floor for the first round of defense. And that's something I would consider unusual. I think most teams would just stick to that ranked strategy, go top or go bottom, whatever you prefer, personally. Maybe even bottom. Bottom I would consider the best side. And I wonder, are they really comfortable here? If they are, no, I tip my hats to them. It's something very uncommon, at least from my experience. And with it, hope they can back it up. I hope they can back it up with a good round to get that 4-3, to get some sort of lead finally in for themselves. Although Entropy, taking a different approach on attack. They're already in the building. It's a minute and 50, and they're taking a quick approach to clear everything out, and then just completely shell Molotov inside their own site, and that's when they really get to that choking point.
Yeah, we see the vertical play already happening. I'm unsure if MVG got a Valkyrie cam up here. I love the fact, by the way, that they struggled with intel and attack, and now they're bringing the Valkyrie. Afla saw the feed and just got the headshot wallbang. Beautifully done.
Adder's in the meanwhile gets a 1. Not only 1 though, start counting up because it's a second for him onto Rise as well. Bringing that action up the square stairs. He looks to find third, but the breach on the right is going to be a bit of a trouble. Not for him, though. He swings, and even when falling a second after, he's going to make sure that that advantage is handed over. And not only that, but Yuki's going to be expanding off of it. What a lever pull here for MVG. The defense being extremely aggressive and now just completely taking over whatever the attackers gained, leaving Becky in the 1v3, and that's going to be slow and painful, but at the same time, low hopes here for Entropy in this round.
It seems like MVG definitely is confident on that side, and that's good for them. That's actually very good for them. As you said, it's such an unusual side. Many teams struggle, and of course, Variox is the one finalizing the round and gaining 1 up for his team, which is, by the way, the 4th round, I think, when MVG got the first frag, and they won all of them.
That's interesting. It's always the first frag that decides the round. A little factor in for a lovely match between these two teams. But in the meanwhile, look at these highlights. Afla, what a shot. You know, he went on Feet Fighter, and he definitely picked off a head. But not only that, Batters, what were these shots? Godly up from the heavenly gates. He got triple kill just simply by walking on square. That's how strong this man's presence is. And, oh, Void, oh, they're bringing in Amaru. Oh, this is bad.
Oh, for downstairs?
Please don't.
Please, really. She's used... What? Oh, maybe they want to plant and then she rappels up, but, like, that's such a niche thing. Wow, but they got a Monty. They definitely want to plant in server.
Oh, like, questionable decisions. You know, I think Shishi just likes the guns.
I mean, Cecil, by the way. Sorry, yeah.
I think Shishi just likes the guns, honestly. Because, let's be honest, I think Amaru has one of the best kits when it comes to fragging itself. And if you want to do a nice roam clear upstairs, why need to repel if you can just Spider-Man sweep in? And that's exactly what the plan here is going to be. It's a quick roam clear, it's good guns, and it's a nice little combination. So honestly, I don't blame him. Going for nice wall bangs and just starting to flush defenders out of their comfort zones.
Yeah, this is definitely the better choice. I was very afraid that they are gonna try to get that plant down and then she rappelling up, you know? Like she, yeah, rappelling up. I was worried about that, especially because of the Legion upstairs, but they definitely got brains. And I like that very much. I like seeing this approach, even though there's no one on second floor and 1 minute already passed, and both roam clearers are still on second floor, so they need to hurry up a bit before it's too late again.
Calling option, Monty being a menace as always. And of course, the Goyo canisters being just a bit upset. This could be trouble. We don't have Shamikas, and we still have 3 smoke canisters, which hopefully will be available to shut down this Monty planting. Smoke slowly start dropping out behind this metal plate, as in the meanwhile, we get towards that sort of process where the plant should be initiated. First canister, first babe, pulled out, although not thrown, and I think that's what's going to be happening in the midst of it. I think what they're looking for here is a sound call. Completely flushing out the Monty, dealing a bit of damage, nothing too major just as of yet, though.
They only got 1 C4, by the way, so it's not a lot, but still, they got the Echo, they got Legion and Smoke. That should be enough to deny that plant, unless the Amaru is gonna make some real damage upstairs.
Slowly smoking them all out. Wasting as much time as the defenders can afford to, at least. Trying to capitalize off of the fact that you've saved all 3 smokes up until this point. I'm wondering, does Molotov have a backup here? Is there going to be any big flank? And I think that's what we're going to. Nice pick from the Vector. Finds Afla. And Monty down to this last 50. 40 seconds. But you got to watch out for Yuki here. Shishi, in the meanwhile, you get some damage taken off of him. It's going to be a majority of it at least. And with the 30 seconds remaining, this is going to be quite worrisome. Barry, double kill, and a triple in the meanwhile. A flank from the Legion. That's going to be Yuki dropping down. And a quad from this Vector user. What a menace here, Barry. Just letting it all rain down on your enemies. And with it, securing a nice round for MVG. Some leaves do appear over for Entropy. I'm going to have to probably assume we're going to be going back to cameras, back to our beautiful faces. Although, what a round here, Void.
Variox is really, like, he has that backpack on. Of course, Entropy in general, a very decent, very good team. But Variox right now, he's literally on fire. Like that triple kill, he just does what he needs to do. He pulls the trigger and heads are flying. It's crazy.
He's a natural disaster of his own. My goodness, that was. I think it would have been possible if an ace were to happen. Of course, if Legion didn't swoop on in just to get that to allow him to limit it to a quad. Although it's still fine. It's still an amazing performance, and it's a round nonetheless. You cannot complain over it. Now, it's a roll of the dice for Entropy here because the second they switch over to attack, what's happening? 2 rounds are already lost in a row, and of course they've gotten the bottom floor. They've gotten the middle floor, and top floor is still available. So is Archives, which I doubt. I hope MVG are going to be. I don't think they're going to be going Archives. It's even more uncommon. Although in the meanwhile, it's going to be a rehost. So for now, we're going to be throwing it to a break, but a short one at that, and we will be with you as soon as we possibly can be. And we're back. Yeah, we said we're going to be back as soon as we can be. And, well, we're going to hold our word to it. Although, what are we back to here, Void? It's a 5-3 for Molotov and Entropy. What's happening?
Crazy stuff is happening, actually. I am a bit sad that the stats are being resetted, honestly. Like, they were looking good, especially for Variox. I'm a bit sad about that. But, well, we got back, and we are this time on the second floor. Let's hope it's gonna be better for MVG than before. And not for MVG, for Entropy, I'm sorry. So they might get, like, around again, you know, and keep it up close.
Honestly, I'm wondering what Entropy are gonna, like, yeah, they have to adapt somehow. Because what the worst part about this is, it's Entropy's map. This is their pick. And Molotov right now, they're 2 rounds, not only 2 rounds above Entropy, but 2 rounds away from securing that win in regulation. So, a quick changes are going to be needed. We're upstairs. This is the first time we're seeing MVG on it, and so first time Entropy attacking it, so a bit of a new appearance from these two teams and a bit of a new confrontation, although we're going to have to see how it works out. And at the very start, we already see Entropy going for these window plays, very quick takes on square and major points. But in the meanwhile, it's MVG to get the opening, and it's going to be the castle, the UMP-45 to claim it. But a second one following right after. Barry, he's been, just the previous round it was a quad, and now he's going to follow it with a fifth into the second round here.
Virox isn't here to just play. He is really just continuing what he did before rehosting, just like Eine. I don't know if you pronounce it like that, like the German way. But MVG is still on fire. They didn't let it didn't destroy their momentum or something. It was a rehost by Entropy, I believe. So it didn't destroy anything, which is very good for them, because that's always the risk. Well, Afla tries to even it out, but no, Tatters, he says no. You stay below us when it comes to man's count.
Big red button to that question, and the answer is given. 4v2 for Entropy here. What are we looking at here, lads? Afla, Betchy. The floors, drones are out. All that's left is Afla, who did pick up a kill in the meanwhile, although you have to get 3 more, or at least 2 to equalize it. Leverage is needed, and so is some sort of aura, some sort of pressure for yourself to get going. 45 seconds, running it down. A good punish from Betchy here. It's finding the echo is going to be essential. One more. You need one more 1v1 situation. Pings are coming out. This could be valid information. Oh, but looking away from this elevator could be deadly. There was a thought for Afla that someone may be there, but Yuki, he swings in at an unexpected moment. Betchy here left in a 1v3. 20 seconds on the score, and with that Thatcher primary, it's going to be a beautiful headshot onto the Frost. Now claiming just a bit more. Scared about that elevator, just like Afla was earlier. Looking onto the main, that's going to be a down onto Yuki. It's going to be huge. Information is relayed. Pings coming onto the last one. I do believe it's going to be a pickup here. Let the plant transfer it in the meanwhile. Are they going to be fast and decisive enough to get back in time to deny? Yes, but no, at the same time, a kill won't be confirmed. And with it, a round again for MVG. There we're looking at a match point here.
I'm sorry, Betchy. I wasn't familiar with the game. I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name earlier.
Same.
Crazy. That would have been an insane clutch. I would make sure that would come up in the ESA highlight video. I swear. That was chef's kiss. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. It was close, but it didn't work out in the end. Meaning MVG is on match point right now on Entropy's map pick, which of course doesn't look good on Entropy. They will have to face MVG on their map pick, which is Chalet, which again I have mixed feelings about, but MVG, it looks like they know what they are doing.
Bomb located by attackers.
We've gotten into the swing of things. Without a doubt, I mean, the score says it all. At the same time, though, at the start, it was looking like there were no positive KDs. There were people going on for Entropy. They went and started with, I do believe, it was a 3-1 score. That was their highest point. And from that, continuing up until now, MolotovGang have won 5 rounds consecutively. That is absolutely ludicrous. They've not only done it on attack, but they followed it up over towards defense. Entropy need to lock in, and they need to do it for 3 rounds in a row. This is absolutely insane. Seeing as how strong Molotov were already on this middle floor, they can continue to do it. They can continue with how they started, and they can get themselves the first map. Although it's all to the ifs and the buts and the questions that need to be answered, so we're going to have to get to those answers in just a short moment, but set up being prepared as of current though.
Valkyrie already got the first hits, but not too much, so it shouldn't have that much impact, but it shows Entropy almost got the first frag, which would lead, if it's gonna stay like that, to an MVG round loss, by the way. As, like the past, wins they did. They always had the first frag. So, the first frag still determines who wins this. which is actually quite funny.
It is. It's hilarious, but at the same time, I feel like we're just cheating the system. It's kind of predicting the future, and I don't like it. I want to see some sort of refrank, some comeback.
Ooh.
And Afla, well, I think he's going to be setting a good start, and Rise as well. In the meanwhile, though, it's a 5v3, 1:30 on the clock. A bit of a late kill, and the second one as well. It could be just setting up what we're going to be seeing. Duet follows up. A Pokeball delivered to Shishi to get the opening over for the side of MolotovGang. Although it's a bit too late to say anything for positive for Molotov. Yes, they get some sort of refrank, but it's a 1-for-3 trade, and that's not a positive one at that. Looking minus into their stocks, and with it, the 1 minute that's remaining, they can just slowly shut them out. Get these rotations cut off, get these angles held, and completely push them back out of their comfort zones. That's exactly what Entropy are going to be looking to do. A double kill to finish it off, and yeah, it's going to be sticking to it traditionally. The one that gets the first kill is the one that wins the round.
Well, Entropy managed to just dodge that map loss, which is great. Of course, I want to see overtime. I'm gonna be honest there. It's such a great German derby. As a German myself, of course, I wanted to go all the way. But yeah, again, I didn't expect it actually. They went on first floor, which seemed to be a very strong side for MVG, but Entropy adapted very well to it immediately. So that round win is definitely deserved. They did such a good fragging job. They didn't really do a lot of, you know, building up strats like breaching things or whatever. It was literally just them going in, fragging, and, you know, round win.
Everyone knows. I mean, this match has really been interesting. I love how
Yeah.
Entropy started it off dominant, extremely dominant, putting their name out there, 3-1 score. Okay, it's going to be a one-sided match, right? That's what we were thinking.
5 seconds
Molotov,
left.
out of nowhere, it's 6-3. What is happening? Now, I think,
Attackers are
at
moving
least
out
I'm
to
hoping,
locate a bomb.
you as well, like me, I think we're both hoping to see overtime here. The big Bozmax OT is what we need between these two teams to carry us on over to Chalet. Although if MVG, if they play it carefully, if they get this one round in the following two, it's regulation. It's going to finish off quickly. And the map that was picked by Entropy is going to be MVG's to claim. Although sticking with this open area side, but going for the side downstairs, it's going to be Batchy. Opening kill. Not only finding Yuki, but that's going to be the Legion as well. So those goo mines are not going to be replenished any longer.
Oh, that kill really, really hurts. Because Legion was probably meant to be like post-plant or like pre-plant, but to prevent the plant. Alongside the Smoke and Goyo. They are on basement, so of course it is. It's so important to prevent the plant as long as possible, and it's gone now, at least one of it. They don't have a Twitch, at least, so Goyo is safe for now. But still, they are destroying like the whole strat from Entropy, from MVG, I'm sorry, from the inside right now, and it looks good. It looks very good.
It does. Although MVG are wasting precious time here. We've seen Entropy on the attack being down for the last couple of seconds. I don't think they're too keen on seeing it repeat for a second time. Elevator here being pushed. A nice swing over. And a toxic babe thrown. Meanwhile, Just is approaching the main stairs, pushes up and takes out Rise. A nice pick, a nice find at the same time. It's going to be the Dokkaebi. Good information gathered. And in the meanwhile, a bit of a confusion over our Entropy. I do think it's going to be throwing them off guard. Smoke Babes, this use is absolutely phenomenal. Blocking off the main corridor here to deny Ene from getting pushed, it's huge. Especially playing with that close range shotgun, which is a real delicacy for the Smoke to have. A nice little combination for the elevator play. At the same time, wasting great time, dropping down to Hash and making sure that it's down to the last wire, down to the 45 seconds that are remaining, and pushing these attackers that aren't handling the situation anymore to go for these late round plants, Smokes, throwing it all out there. damage dropped, I think Vault is going to be a bit of an approach, although the Vector, we've seen it so recently, and we've seen it so commonly, it's going to be finding one, the Bearing 9 the second, and a second as well for this Vector, a triple kill out of nowhere. Druid returns the fire, but not too much of it. A leave from Entropy, and that's not going to be too positive of a reinforcement over here for Druid, who doesn't seem to be looking at his left, and the Bearing 9 is going to be finding the final pick as MolotovGang take map number 1, and with it, they're going to be taking Entropy's pick. Wow, that was quite an interesting way of defending right then and there.
I'm thinking way too standardly for MVG. They're so creative, like that smoke. It was so good. The first floor, it's so good. MVG is having so many niche pocket picks. I love to see that. It's literally, it's nice to see. I love it.
It's these small additions that make such a huge change, and honestly worked out so well for MVG. Entropy didn't even have a response, and that's what's so interesting. They had a good start, but it seems like they were kind of stale on their strategy, on their playstyle. They didn't really mold it any at all to switch it up against MVG, and of course, that's going to let them win round after round if you don't change up your pace. Although map number 1 is finished, that's going to be Bank heading over towards MVG. Like I said, Entropy's pick. Now going over to MVG's pick. If the curse is real, it's going to be Entropy taking it, and we're going to be heading over to the decider, although time will tell. And with it, we're going to be taking a short break, and we'll be with you in a second, so stay tuned. And, well, we said a break was needed, and a break is done. It's back to the action with us for ESA Cup Season 9. It's a best of 3, and the second map is upon us. But before we get into the matches, into the bans, you name it. I'm Buffer Bob, joining you for the second map here on Chalet. And with me is going to be yet again Void. And how are we looking into the second one?
Oh, that one is definitely gonna be amazing. It's so unpredictable. It's gonna be Chalet. And as I said, like before at the start of the stream, I didn't expect either team to pick it, as on ESA, both teams played in both rounds and lost it twice. And I just looked up in the break the head-to-head statistic. Entropy and MVG played on Chalet versus each other twice, and the count, like the score is 1-1. It's even. You don't know who's better on that map.
Okay, this is going to be a bit of a tiebreaker here between the two teams. And before we go into it, when we're still setting up everything in the background, I think it's good that we take a nice little step back, backpedal to the previous match, and take a look at it. Now, any coming thoughts before we go into Chalet here, Void?
Of course, we talked about it a lot in the break. We both love MVG's creativity, and we really hope that it continues into Chalet, because it would probably be their winning way. Of course, like Entropy seemed to be a bit stale, not really adapting to the creative ways MVG figured out, while MVG seemed a bit more adaptive.
Yeah, it's a nice path to success that Entropy doesn't really have a way to finding or countering there. Like we saw in the last round, there's many references that we can point out, but it's all great to see from MVG because of those plays. When I saw the smoke, for a second I was like, okay, what are they doing? How is it working? But then you start thinking about it and it fits in nicely. So really style points given to them. In the meanwhile, though, we do have just a bit more statistic that this map was picked by MVG. So like they won Entropy's map, they're going into their own, and Entropy's is going to be starting on attack here.
That's very unusual. It's like not Bank or something where attack do be favored. It's Chalet. But I get it. Chalet has that basement side. A lot of teams still play it, while I personally think it's kind of a meh side. So as an attacker, I think you got a bit of an advantage. But still, I wouldn't choose to go attack first on Chalet.
It's an interesting choice. Although hopefully Entropy are going to be there to back it up, to put a fight in, because again, it's that type of situation where if you get yourself a good start where you're on the less preferred sites, that's really strong. If you're on the attack and you get a 4-2 going or a 3-3, going out to this defense is going to be huge. Although, it's a bit of a risk because if it ends up going against you, if you're at that 1-5-2-4 situation, yeah, the morale and the positivity seems to start crashing down. In the meanwhile, though, like as every round of competitive starts, will be the operator bans, and your Void, we're looking at the same ones we saw earlier on the attack. It's the Brava and the Ying. Any predictions for the defense quickly?
Yeah, it's gonna be the same as first round, like my Azami and Valkyrie. Even though MolotovGang won't ban the Valkyrie, I think. Because they played her a lot. Okay, I
That's
might have
one.
I gambled there. But still,
I
the
think it's gonna
Azami
be Kate.
pick.
I
You
think
think?
it's
Yeah,
gonna be
could
Kate.
be.
It's Kate or Valkyrie. Honestly, it could even it could even be Mira for all we know. This is
Yeah,
close.
that's true.
And it's gonna be Valkyrie, a 4 for 4 bingo here for Void. Nice. Well done, although that means we leave more opportunities open. That means the Kate is going to be finally now played, the Mira too, and both of those operators are very strong on Chalet here.
Definitely. And we go again to first floor side, to middle floor side. That's the MVG standard by now, is at least in this matchup. I'm very happy to see that.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Oh, look at these lineups. We're seeing a Maestro. I love Maestro as an operator. Just gonna have to put it out there. He is probably one of my top 3 operators and love seeing him. Meanwhile, though, look at this information from MVG. We have the Mozzie to capture off of enemies' information. We have the Echo to deny plant and at the same time capture information. And of course, Tatters with the Maestro, which is yet again a similar situation with Echo, just a bit more of a pinch of damage into it. Entropy, hopefully they're going to counter it. I do see the Flores pick alongside the Ash, which are nice counters, although no IQ, which was quite commonly used earlier, and maybe Duet is picking that Dokubi just to hack some of these cameras.
Attackers' objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
We will see. I'm actually quite interested or curious if Maestro is gonna use his cam to prevent the breach. You know, there's that one spot people put it in, like in that bush or something, that plant.
Yeah.
And it would fit MVG actually to use this more or less high risk, high reward. Because once that Maestro cam is gone, there's no breach denial anymore.
We'll have to see. Locked in. We have some sort of vertical breach. It's going to be Freddy with the buck. No backup for it, though. So if that buck is off, verticality can say sayonara to it. Roam appearance is surely there. There's some sort of presence happening, and I think Entropy are quite aware of it. And take a slow approach. Still on the outside. It's going to be that floors being taken into accountability. Starting to take out some cameras, some information, whatever devices you can to trade out those floors drones. 3 already used, or 2, and looking to get more in, just so you can really focus on your gunplay. It's going to be interesting, although some players still outside, and Entropy taking a very careful approach here.
We are more used to see that by MVG, but I guess it's more like that testing what they can do and what they can't do. What MVG is trying to achieve, what they are aiming for. But again, I'm gonna say it just like I said it when MVG did the same thing. You gotta keep that time, you know, in your mind, while Afla just falls down to the gun from Just, making MVG getting the first frag, and we know what that could mean. Maybe it's gonna be different on this map. I would hope so, honestly. It would have been good. Would have been even more unpredictable.
Would have been. The opening landing over for MVG as now they've claimed that type of tradition. But are they going to keep up with it, or are they going to snowball it over to a round victory? The opening one for them, we're going to have to see. It's Shally here, down to the last minute. Aggression is popping out, and it's seemingly so, as Rise now joining 6 foot under Afla. It's going to be very, that Vector, an absolute menace. And a second kill here for Just, as it's going to be finding over to the hard breacher. I don't think the breach over by Fireplace was open, so this is going to be a bane to the strategy of Entropy, as now they're forced to roam the upstairs and try and find 1v1 situations that are going to be hard to spot. It's a real hiding situation. The breach is open and confirmed right in front of us as a team kill from Just. A bit of funny to happen every now and then. I think they are positive enough that they're going to win this round because the remaining time is just not enough to secure yourself a confident pick here. And with it, I mean Molotov, you just hold angles, you double peek, you cross hold, you name it. There's a lot of things. A self flash over to the buck isn't gonna be ideal. One kill dropped, and while the plant is going down, is gonna get canceled out, and with it, Entropy are gonna be losing their first round. Molotov claiming it, and it would have been a flawless if it were not for the team kill.
Well, maybe just wanted to give Entropy a bit more of a chance, killing Virox there. But well, it worked out anyways. Okay, we're going back to the camera. It's a pause. But Entropy was, I think, a bit unsure about what they want to achieve with that attack. Like, they tried to roam clear, of course. There was a bit of action upstairs, but MVG went down back on side pretty quick. And I don't think Entropy really got that. So they wasted a lot of time upstairs, lost man who went down. And after that, it was just a 2v5 AK4. And that lost them the round.
Yeah, when you're in such a tight spot, I feel like it's yet again some sort of uniqueness here from MVG. I mean, we saw her with the Vector flanking as a Goyo. That's very unusual yet again,
Yeah.
although creative. Peeking up just from bottom blue, taking out the Ash. Yes, some bullets are delivered back, although you retreat back to side because all the way from bottom blue, from bottom main to west, it's all nice connections on the bottom floor, and that's real good opportunities for flanks to show themselves. And with it, it's a good starting run. I think yet again, the opening pick really told us how it's all going to go down. And the second that one was brought, it just kept on going. It was added to the count. We went to the second, we went to the third. The fourth one, I believe, was the team kill. So, we'll count that as well. And then fifth and sixth, which was the remaining two on this attack. And with it, I do believe it's going to be real host just going to ask, of course, production yet again, how's the situation looking? All right. Bit of a yap session between me and you, Void, here. And going in to Chalet, what would you recommend Entropy to do here? And what would be the great counter to this type of unique playstyle?
Oh, a lot of intel, actually.
Yeah.
MVG, again, got that creative playstyle, so you can't really think of the standard plays because that's not really gonna happen. So just get a lot of intel, know what they are about to do, and then you just need game knowledge and probably the aim to execute and then win the round.
You speak of intel, and that's a really good point here, not only for these attackers, because they need it. We've seen them waste drones at times. At the same time, MVG, you saw the information they gathered not only from the Mozzie, not only from the main cameras, possibly even bulletproof cameras, the Echo, and the Maestro. That was huge amounts of intel just all across the board, and that's what MVG have going for themselves. And going into round two, there's an odd one out. And I think we can all spot it over at defense. It's the flash. Oh god.
I am ready for that one. I'm very... It could be good, okay? It could be good, it could be bad. It's one of MVG's creative ways, and you shouldn't, question it. It works. It's gonna work, I'm sure. But I just saw that they completely reinforced that breach thingy, like that box, meaning they give up library hole from that angle, which is interesting because it's a very good angle, to keep the attackers away from the side unless they breach, of course.
Slowly pushing up library. You can't make it a one-sided push. So in the meanwhile, you're going to be adding fireplace to the counter, going for fluke balcony, and rolling it all out. This information, at the start, it seems promising from Entropy, and we said we need it. Molotov going for outside information with the Echo drone. And again, that uniqueness, they're artists. They're definitely putting their art on display with it. Slowly taking up a lot of ground very fastly. And at this point, I get terrified that this is where their information gather stops. Oh, what a shot! Yet again, coming out from nowhere, a corner not to be expected, and taking out Rice for the second time. Poor Ash hasn't gotten a kill in, and Rice has not been really having fun a single bit throughout this entire match up until now.
Oh, he was lucky that Variox ain't that high, because it could have been a stack up. It could have been an easy double kill by just that one shot. They stacked up perfectly.
It was an opportunity, a bit missed, although I still think it's a success here. It's still
yeah,
very
definitely,
nice.
of course.
Just it just lurks in the shadows and then appears out of nowhere. Very so unpredictable. It's terrifying even to me, and I'm not in the game. Keep that in mind. I'm spectating, I'm casting, and this is terrifying. Just watching the Goyo Vector appear on the kill feed a second after something or nothing happens. It's not going to be the Vector that follows it. It's going to be that TCSG, none other than, of course, Cade. We were talking about not being banned, just finding one. In the meanwhile, Taz finishing off the job, 2 HP, but that shotgun surely going to be delivering nice and clean blows to the body.
I do believe they are trying to pick the wrong counters. Like, they got a Gridlock. Of course, maybe they didn't pick it just because of the clash. But, you know, as we said, the intel is lacking. They picked the Dokkaebi, but she didn't get to do anything. And with only default cams, no Valkyrie and everything, Dokkaebi might not be as valuable as she could be. So other operators would have been better, other intel operators. Well, the clash, she's annoying and does her job perfectly. A flawless round. That was pretty easy looking.
Rough to flawless. I mean, I would count the first round as a flawless in my books, because the only thing that was stopping it was a team kill, which honestly no clue why it even happened in the first place. Although, MVG, very solid start. Keep in mind, this is the exact same words. Oh, I'm not quoting myself, but similar words that we used in the first map. Solid start for Entropy. They got a 3-1 going. That's when it really went downhill. Now, I don't want to cast a curse. I'm not going to predict anything because God forbid that it goes the same way. Although Molotov, they're really keeping up this sort of tradition, this trend, the tempo they've left in bank and carrying it over with their shoulders, knees, arms, you name it, to Chalet here. Second round, won dominantly. Going over to Bar and Gaming at the same time, bringing out the Vigil and Fenrir combo and the Mira. Frost as well, because she's really, really complimentary on this side. This is where she was introduced hugely. And of course, Yuki with that mute, because what round is a round without mute?
You know, I see that Nuck take a bit critical, not gonna lie, because, you know, they should know by now that MVG is pretty unpredictable. So Nuck probably wants to go inside alone, trying to sneak off some roamers, but I don't think they're gonna know where they actually are. So I think that might have been a not so good pick. But let's see, Afla is a good fragger, even though, of course, none of Entropy actually got one frag this whole game. But they're gonna wake up. They're gonna get it.
Hopefully. It's a minute by.
Yeah.
And we still haven't seen any kills. My short attention span is slowly starting to get annoyed, especially because these teams have been really juicing us up with early kills and strong ones at that. And finally, that's going to be the L2A3 being put to work. Afla off the board, that's going to be the Nook. Not much intel, not much sort of gadget to be wasted over towards the attack. You still keep the Capital and the floors, which is going to be just beautiful. Although start using those gadgets. The Capital bolts would be really strong here, and those Twitch drones even stronger to take out these really commanding mirror windows. In the meanwhile, though, MVG are going to be keeping the fragging sent over to the upstairs, rotating down, and Rise finally getting a pick up for himself, getting some sort of comfortability and starting to go off of that F2. The Ash wasn't fit for him because it was very victimizing him every single round up until now, although a trade back here and looking to continue off of it is going to be very finding Freddy and looking to make his advancements. Now the K1A is in the wrong hands for Entropy here. Molotov Gaming, very dominant. And a C4 follow-up, a 2v4, some sort of 2v4 advantage. The man advantage being kept up very high, and the standard like MVG have been having throughout these two matches.
Just look at Variox. He is already 5-1. That is more than his whole team. Oh, no, not exactly. I wanted to say his whole team and Entropy together. But not exactly, because Rise did something. He got a kill for the whole team, and I'm proud of him. That's gonna be the wake-up call. They're gonna come back. But yeah. Sorry? Oh.
Oh, it was funny to hear that Rise's one kill was a leading factor here for Entropy to win. And the second it's said, Molotov just flush him out. Unfortunate. Unfortunate is all I can say.
I tried, okay, to keep it
Yeah.
positive.
You can't do that as a caster. I'm sorry, it's not allowed. You caster curse them. That's
I'm sorry.
yeah. Well, now yeah. No, it's too late. Now they're gonna
You know
lose.
what
It's
I'm
gonna
gonna
be.
say? Entropy is completely shit. They're gonna lose it 7-0.
Okay, come on.
And now I want them to see win now. I predicted you to win. Can't do me like that.
We got trying to back it up. Okay, we're gonna see. Hopefully, Entropy hear those words out. A bit of a leading voice to them. Because currently, Molotov 3-0, similar score. Get that one round in, and then get those rounds rolling. Stack them up each single time, and with it, Entropy now not looking too good. A bit of an illness that's coming upon them this round count, and I do believe that that morale may be starting to lower a bit.
Remaining.
The round count, it may be taking a toll on how they're thinking as of current,
5 seconds left.
and well, I do see that a bit of aggression is going to be their response to it, as Rise not been having the funnest of times. He wants to have a bit of a revenge arc here with the Blitz.
Well, the illness is spreading to the operator picks. As you said, it's a blitz. It's a Dockerby that's
God.
dead already by the maestro.
Oh no!
Just so goes the blitz down. That was pretty quick, but not as quick as they wanted it to be. No impact from that rush. MVG is looking better than ever.
It's all gone wrong. I can really respect Entropy here for attempting to do a bit of a different switch. Maybe catch Molotov off guard. But the worst thing is to do is not go in for any information. Replace a drone and trophy. Get some sort of leading factor that you know jumping in through this window is going to be safe. Not into the hands of the maestro, multiple gadgets, and just people swinging out from trophy stairs. And it's honestly a catastrophe this round, yet again. 2v5 here for Entropy. No clue what may be happening, and they need to switch it up. Okay, they got a bit of a fun round in. They reset their mentality. Hopefully right now they're talking things through because they have that time. It's a 2v5. Normally you don't win this. If it does happen, I'll be screaming my lungs out. I can promise you that. Although, at the current state, save that KD. Hide. Go outside. Talk it out.
What KD though?
Oh, God.
I'm
Oh.
sorry to say this, but...
There's...
Freddy!
There it is. There's the first one. Freddy starts it.
Well, you know, that's exactly the thing. We keep saying they need more intel, and what they're doing is even less intel, it seems.
Okay.
But maybe we talk too soon. Wait a minute.
Is this happening? Entropy starting to back up their talk. A nice double kill from Veggie and Freddy. They haven't been... I've loved that Entropy have been switching out operators. First it was Rise on the Ash. Then I do believe it was Jewett. Now it's Freddy and Veggie taking over the Twitch from Rise himself. Switching out those operators to see what works for you, it's a great little strategy. It's a great way to see what comfortability is between these teammates, although hopefully next time we're going to see that a bit earlier, maybe even in match 1 already, maybe even before the matches start. Although 30 seconds right now, Freddy taking a bit of damage, but it's a 3v2. It's nothing impossible. Although with the corners you're pushing right now, it's going to be too hard and too damp. Freddy, 6 foot under, final nail in the coffin for him. And with a 20 seconds remaining for Veggie to play it all out. Swinging with the bearing 9 is going to be from bottom. Trophy and finishing the job. MolotovGang secure their 4th round in a row. And this is not looking good here.
First of all, I love the little smiley that got punched in the wall. Thanks for showing this. But I believe it's gonna be very hard from now on. Entropy chose to go attack first. I just wanted to remind everyone they chose this, okay? And the issue is, if they lose again, I do think it's gonna be basically impossible to like move on from that, because then it would be at best 1-5 split. And that is really not good looking. If they win 2 rounds now in a row, it's gonna be still a default switch. So, you know, they can still say things.
Up until now, Entropy have been rolling only once, and they're currently looking to find that natural 20 for themselves. I do like that they're trying to take a different approach, not be as basic, not be as one-sided or like one-faced. Although it worked out. That has at least worked out on Bang. I wonder but they're going to have to switch up. Overall on defense, yes, I can get it. Maybe they're going to be a bit more comfortable. Maybe they're going to get some different type of picks in. It's going to be a lot more vast because you can play to your site's advantage. As a defender, it's your job to organize and structure out this map to your comfortability and play it against the attackers. And that's when the attackers have to find a way to either go and play off of your mistakes or snoop in through the site with another way. And that's interesting. Molotov here are definitely putting that into account. Entropy aren't, though. They need to go off of mistakes and not make these huge mistakes themselves.
Yeah, you definitely might be right. Defense, of course, could be a breath of fresh wind for Entropy. But for that, I would say they should prevent that match point swap. They should prevent that at all costs. As Afla gets that first frag, that entry frag, that's always a good sign. In this matchup, it's the best sign possible.
Off of hatches. Avila here, hoping to find someone just being a bit too careless in their footwork. Verticality from the buck. Rise, making it clear that there's someone below. Not only someone. It's the majority of Entropy here, I believe. Trophy's gonna be something they're looking and setting their eyes upon. Not clearing much. Gadgets or utility could be deadly. Although in the meanwhile, rushing in from Jewett, just taking it into Solarium, is going to be a deadly fate following up. Yuki finding the opening over for MolotovGang. As Jewett now off the board, that's going to be the Ash. You still have a bunch of gadgets to work with here. Although, do you have the time to spare?
That shield is still not gone, if I saw that correctly. Meaning it wasted a lot of utilities, a lot of frag grenades, all they had actually. And it's still there. So there was kind of a time waste and utility waste. Unfortunately, they're trying so hard to get rid of that echo. But Afla gets his double kill. Getting rid of Viriox, a very important frag from that Goyo and that fragger machine.
Meanwhile, though, 416 Carbine is going to be picking off one. Afla blowing up this Goyo canister, getting a revenge. And in the meanwhile, this Jaeger, that's going to be Aine, managing to find and set her eyes, or his eyes upon, yet another deadly weapon. 30 seconds remaining. Tatters now off the board by Wise himself, claiming the kill. In the meanwhile, it's down to a 1v2 between MolotovGang and Entropy here for this 5-0 score, or at least to get one round in for yourselves, Entropy. This is going to be needed. They go off of the plant. It's slowly sticking to it, and it doesn't seem like it's being held too well. Although the Now-Man airdrop is going to be huge, not executing off of it, but it doesn't matter as Betchy's going to be hitting the head and making sure that this round is going to be theirs to claim, knowing where this Jaeger is, going off of a good position. And with it, round 5 is going to be theirs to take. Although, is it going to be a 5-1 or a 4-2? We'll have to see soon. Yeah.
Use as many bombs as they can. Bomb located by attackers.
Activating camera. Deploying rocket. Activating camera.
Right.
Fire is up.
Now, a bit of trouble from production is going to be all good. I'll be taking over for a second. And in the meanwhile, it's 4-1. This is looking good for Molotov, especially because on their own defense, they've scored themselves some sort of positive first half. At least, if not that, a 5-1 is something they can still look forward to here. They're going on to Bar Gaming. This was a very dominant side. This is where they had that roam, that really unexpected push and proactivity from the side of defense. And Entropy, they seem to be savoring their gadgets and utility on the attack just a bit too much.
Stay close to me.
I'm back. Did you miss me? Probably, right? Everyone did, of
Yeah.
course.
Of course. Who wouldn't? You know what we miss here, though? Entropy rounds.
Oh,
The
yeah.
rounds from Entropy. We're missing those.
Oh, Afla again.
Very nice. He took out the hot hand here, Varied. Although, Rise, oh, poor Rise. Taken out by the L2A3. Anna, a nice pick. Still setting up his Frost, but getting kills in the meanwhile. Absolute multitask machine.
I'm glad he didn't die with frost mats in his pocket, honestly. Would have been such a shame. But we see a Monty, which we missed last map. So, you know, it is a pocket pick for Entropy because, you know, it's last round in attack for them. Let's see if he has some use. He's actually currently more or less alone. But Freddy G just takes out Just, which is a dock. A very, very important pick.
You're gonna be getting low on HP. More stims for you. Be staying at it. Flashes over to Tatters, limiting the visuals with this mirror. Vector yet again. And Afla with that R4C onto Yuki. Beautiful pick. Second one of that. 4v2. Entropy securing, looking to secure at least their second round here before switching over to defense. They want to make sure their attack is completely squished out of juices and ready to be left abandoned. Monty coming up close. Afla now downed and finished. Done and dusted as Aina is going to be quite positive in sight. C4 still for Tatters, who could be using it to counter this Monty. Although with a minute remaining, we're going to have to see it all come down. Playing off of sight, you lost that verticality, and we're going to have to see if Molotov are going to be playing off of it. Down to the Twitch, the Monty, and the Flores guns are in hand. You don't have the information, and you're playing off of pure instincts here, trying to get any pick that's available. Druid here exposing that he is going to be over by this hatch, trying to look down upon any defender daring to peek into this F2. The C4 comes out, and will he be connecting? Not just quite, not even dealing a slither of damage. Slowing down, bullets coming from fireplace. In the meanwhile, Monty behind you, information is leaked, and so is this verticality. Druid pulls out the secondary to finish the job. Flash is coming out, not connecting onto Tatter's eyes, but that Vector is looking to connect onto some heads. It won't matter. It's the Monty from your right. It's going to be Batchy completely lurking and being that overwhelming presence to finish the job. The 4-2 score is what we're left with in the first half.
Oh, Entropy might have found MBG's weak spot, which is overwhelming. Like Frost and Myra, they had nowhere to go. They were pressured from each and every side, which was literally perfect. That secured them the round and the default, more or less, role swap, which is perfect for them. I didn't expect that from the first 4 rounds. And now they are on defense, which automatically gives them a better chance, if they play it right, of course, to win this. Do you think they will come back and close, like, even this out?
It's possible. I think I'm actually gonna predict here that they're gonna be, it's a prediction, not a caster curse, so keep that in mind, that Entropy are gonna bring 4 rounds and Molotov are gonna win 2, and we're going to overtime. I think that's a real viability between these two teams here.
Oh yeah, I would love that. That would literally, like, overtime always perfect, especially if it's Bose Max OT, as you would say.
Oh yeah, we love good old Bose. Absolute, he's the Jesus of the server. He's the Jesus of this league, okay? So we gotta praise the man when he's mentioned. Although, I would love to see an overtime. Earlier, I think it was kind of getting to that point. If only Entropy could have picked up a round or 2 that they necessarily lost because of these really major mistakes. And I think they're going into this match just trying to think more thorough than they ever have, which is lovely. They got 2 rounds in. They were both very strong. And now on defense, I think they can just take a bit of a chill pill and have it be a bit more towards Molotov on this type of advantage side.
They're so quick this time. It's crazy. The Gridlock already three of her stingers everywhere. All inside, but just gets that entry frag on Afla, which is, again, good sign. They won every round. They had the first frag. Afler, a very good pick as well. He just, like, became more and more passionate about it. He became the fragger of Entropy, and now he's gone. So hopefully Batchy, Rise, Jet, and Freddy will keep it up and bringing those man counts down on the opponent's team.
Looking to limit the frag potential for Molotov here. We've gotten a great advancement all around site. Now all that's needed is to push that key into the hole, unlock the door, and get yourself nicely suited. Information on where this player might be. A good pre-fire, but
oh my god,
it's going to be just finding the one in bathroom somehow. whatever the case may be. More pre-fires, you spot the head over through the head hole, but it's going to be a trade. A very quick one of that happened in a split second, and a 2v4 here for Molotov as they make their advancement through. Rise gets some C4s thrown. In the meanwhile, Freddy is going to be landing some shots over to Just, evening it out, but not for much longer. Down now in the midst of all this chaos, although not being able to finish the job. MolotovGang trying to execute this Rise, because if they get the skate, it's going to be all over. It's going to be done and dusted. It's going to be a 5-2 confirmed out. And with a minute remaining, Rise, he has to put some brain power into this. He really needs to start thinking what the situation is. Freddy gets picked up by his own gadget. That's going to be a beautiful use of it. Oh, well, that's all gone to waste by Tatters, who puts him down for a second time. And Rise, he's left in a 1v3. A good gun. The TCSG is strong, and it's going to be finding the Thatcher. Just almost, not quite, though. 15 damage, drop down as well, but is going to be finishing over to Vary and running outside right into the LED5. It's not going to be the correct set of actions, as 5-2 is now confirmed. And in the meanwhile, we're going to be going to a slow pause. I do believe it is a tech pause called. And with it, we're going to be returning over to our lovely faces. Hello. Welcome back, Void.
Hello. Well, it does look a bit dark for Entropy, as, you know, MVG is only one round away from match point and map point, actually. If they lose this, they go down to the lower bracket and are playing elimination games, I think, right? Yeah, should be. Yeah. And that's definitely a position both teams don't want to be in. And Entropy definitely doesn't want to let that happen without a proper fight. So they should, you know, I think they're gonna power up right now and really, you know, win things. I hope they do.
Hopefully. We gotta still give it a bit of a prayer, and yeah, hopefully our hope is strong enough to help them out, because Entropy, they've been hoping. I don't think it's been working out too well for them. They're over towards the defense. They lost the first round on them, and you know, we have the preparation here, and I think we can really talk about what happened there. If we go and slowly take it, MolotovGang took the opening, and what I wonder is Entropy. The only one that was putting up a decent fight was Freddy, who put up and pushed back Molotov for a second on the upstairs floor. Really went against those head holes. They built them, so use them. Okay, push down blindly without much information on Trophy, and it's unexpected that someone's just going to be constantly watching their window, but honestly, it's logics. It's very logical that if people are playing Solarium, they're going to push down onto Trophy stairs and then, you know, try and get back to site. So yet again, Entropy got to put some extra steps, because right now Molotov are 12 ahead.
Well, if they're gonna come back now, it might already be too late. Again, it's just one round away from map point. And I like to see that Vigil, but not without the Boss G. I do think they're better operators for roaming, especially, you know.
I would...
Do you disagree, actually?
I think there's not a better specific roamer, like a Oryx, but I think there's operators that could be better, that aren't intended for roaming, but you would be good for extra gadgets, like a Melusi, let's say.
Yeah, no, she's 1 speed now.
Oh wait, yeah, oh, she's not, yeah, my bad.
She was. Okay, she was one good
she
roamer.
used to be. Okay, then let's say a Mozzie.
Yeah.
I think Mozzie would be quite comfortable.
Well, but the Twitch is already very, very low. Only 30 HP left. 13, my god. Which isn't the best, of course, especially on the attack side. They don't have anything to heal themselves. While Just gets the entry frag against Jet, and that is not a good sign. I'm gonna say it over and over again. It's not a good sign until they break that first frag curse.
Bit of a bad Juju energy I'm feeling. It's not connecting. My Zen energy is bit off, although Rise throws it right on balance and a double kill. A triple from Entropy popping out from nowhere. An amazing turn of events, as now they're completely switching off and destroying this tradition. MVG, they got the opening and they won rounds. Not this time. Nuh-uh. That's what Entropy said, and they're fighting against it. That's what they're all about, standing in quite strong and dominant on business, some would even say, as now they're looking at 4v2, and with not only a huge count and a huge deficit between players here, at the same time, it's going to going to be time that's wasted. Down to the 45 seconds. A burden on Molotov's shoulders as they do get the opening. It's going to be one from A&A. Nice one for the gridlock gun. Absolutely lovely. Although Freddy not standing for it, finding Yuki, and it's all left down to this gridlock. Fenrir Gadget is going to be stopping her in her tracks. And while she did put hers down already, one is still remaining in the chamber, but it won't matter as Batchy comes swinging around the corner. And while I like a rank player, he's absolutely fragging out here.
They finally broke the curse. It took
Yeah.
so many rounds. It took a whole map and they finally broke it. I'm so proud of Entropy. That's nice. But do you want to know a fun fact from ESA Jesus, Postmax?
Yeah.
Freshly delivered by him. The fun fact is that these two teams play each other again next week Saturday at the Base Stack Breach Winter. They're in the same group, so it's gonna be a rematch again, this time in a LAN environment. And last time they were in that environment, MVG won pretty clearly. So let's see. That's gonna be interesting as well. But what's even more interesting is what's happening right now. It's again the Vigil. It played out very good for them, so I'm not gonna, comment on that one again. It's again the Frost, the Myra, Goyo, and Mute. So basically default lineup, right? It's the same lineup they are playing the whole time already. Like on that
5
side.
seconds to go.
Yeah. I think,
Attackers are heading out to
well, I
defuse
do
the
love
bomb.
that MVG right now did lose a round because Entropy, like I said, I'm hoping for this overtime. It'd be
Yeah.
absolutely fascinating to see.
There's a spawn peak, right?
It is now. There is now. It was a quick one from Afla. And an attempted one. Who had almost been quite close to those bullets. Dangerously close, some may even say. Meanwhile, MVG are starting to pull out bigger guns than ever. You see the Monty on Yuki, which, seeing as how crafty MVG have been up until now, I'm wondering what they're going to be building for this round.
Well, we see the Maverick, and I wanted to go standard again, that they go from basement downstairs and try to get that Myra. A bit of pressure from that one wall, but it's MVG, they're upstairs. They're upstairs with the Maverick, with the Monty. They are not doing what I expect them to do from standardization, but I already learned that lesson. Goyo is getting pressured there, but not enough for him to move out, as he still got that Frost as support. But the Goyo falls. That was quicker than I expected.
An even quicker comeback. Rise getting a kill back. Also traded quickly as a down onto Monty. The Yuki is delivered, but not much given. Ane. A nice kill. A second one for MVG here. It's a 4v2. The Monty doesn't need much HP as long as that metal plate is right in front of him. OC4's over. Actually, 2, in fact. Betchy uses 1 just as I speak of it. Freddy's still remaining with 1. And Nate's coming out. That's going to be uncomfortable. But a C4 Freddy is going to be finding 1. Although the F2 picks up the second. Getting up on that pace, you lose the Monty. Although you yet again claim another kill in return. With 1 minute remaining, these attackers now surrounding Betchy and Freddy here, who, up and close, are going to be quite dangerous. The Vector, the Shotgun, the SMG-11. All 3 guns are absolutely terrifying to go up against. And it's only a matter of how are we going to take these gunfights. Minutes still remains. We have to be smart around these decisions. Very aggressive. Entropy trying to play around these corners. At the same time, Betchy being quite unexpected. You're not going to be going around to peek a window and expect just Mute's head to be popping around it. What you'll be expecting is them to play safe. And they're doing quite the opposite. This could be promising. You need to get 1 kill to equalize the man count. And we saw the mirror. This was extremely close from Tatters to swing it around. 25 seconds into it. And a nice one from Betchy. He finds the opening. It's 20 seconds remaining. Molotov right now need to start moving up. Missed shot from Ane could be fatal here, especially when we're going down to these last few seconds. And with the shotgun now being out, it's a questionable decision, especially it being a super shorty. The mirror is found by Tatters. The plant is going down, and the super shorty finds Betchy as it's now match point for MolotovGang.
Do you think Entropy can come back from this? Do you think they still got the mental for it, or are they too frustrated?
I think the mental isn't looking as decent as it was when they came into this match. I think they were a lot more positive. But honestly, seeing as how close this was, Entropy played it really safe here. They were swinging close corners and playing extremely aggressive and denying Molotov any comfortability peeking into any corner. We saw the Ace. When he went into Fireplace, he was scared to peek bar. He was looking behind him constantly, not sure if someone's going to swing around the corner. And that's that type of pressure that Entropy need to build that foundation and get their rounds in. So although they may be 3 behind, and this is a similar score, or not even similar, it's the exact same score we were looking at earlier, I think this is a map where they could pull something like a comeback off.
Oh, I believe so as well. But, you know, I don't want to jinx it. So I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. I'm just going to not say anything. I'm just going to say that I believe Entropy definitely is the team to come back from that. Like, if it's not Entropy, who would it be?
Honestly, I cannot agree more. Although it's match point, it's a lot to take on. It's a lot to think about. The fact that you're 3 rounds in a row that are needed for you to claim that match point to go out of regulation. And MVG, they win 1 and it's all over. It's not even like only this map is won. The entire best of 3 here today is finished. So with it, Entropy, play your cards right. If you have a trump card, some sort of joker, and up your sleeve, use it while you still can. Because if you don't, it may just be too late.
Well, MVG is doing MVG things, taking it a bit slow, but it might change. Offla, though, gets the entry pick, and that is good. That's perfect for them, because Entropy gets entry fragged a lot. And even though Afla is low HP right now, they got the Thunderbird, which is also kind of a pocket pick. Oh, and they got the dog. I didn't see him.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, it's not a dog, it's a Thunder. Oh my god. I thought the dog is a Thunderbird. I'm sorry, guys. I worked an early shift today. I was not supposed to be casting right now. I'm very tired, okay? Just don't.
All excused.
Thank you. Thank you.
Excused. What is MVG going to do here? They seem to have excused Barry's pick. Hot hand from previously and still continuing frags quite nicely on over to here. 1 minute and 20. Counting us down. Affleck got a beautiful pick, and with the low HP, the Doc is going to be complementing it all the way back to 100. Attackers, it may be unexpected what they're trying to pull off, but do it.
Oh.
He sees he's 12 steps ahead. Taking out the gridlock. That's Aine. 5v3 here. Good deficit of guns. Same time, a one-sided push. Not to be expected, the SMG-12. It's going to be downing Rise. But in the meanwhile, it's going to be a bandit trick that counters it. Great use of utility here.
What?
Trading out the battery for your life to waste more time. This is a great advantage
Oh my god.
But Yuki just running into sight finishes off the bandit. Traded in the meanwhile as Afla finds him and Batchy with a second. All left down to just here. Roaming downstairs below on this bottom west. Trying to sneak behind. Get a bit of a ninja play in for himself. He's not expected and he's going to be downing 1. Looking for the second. That's exactly what he tries to do. Although Afla not getting it a shot. It's going to be downed. It's going to be finished. Done and dusted. And with it, Entropy, they claim a round. 4-6. It's already looking better than previously, but now they just need to look for 2 more.
How did they pull this off? The bandit just bandit tricked while being injured. It's crazy. That MVG push was great for the bandit. Unfortunately, it didn't down him. The dog was the play. He revived Bandit, who made damage. Vigil twice, who did a lot of damage on Afla. It's crazy. How did they manage to pull this off? This is the Entropy I wanted to see on Bank already, but it didn't show up that much. So I'm glad it is coming out right now. Maybe it's the pressure, you know? It's squeezing this out, and I'm all here for it. We see the dog again, the Vigil again. I'm never gonna, I don't know, question the Vigil on Afla again. Never ever gonna do, like, I'm not gonna repeat that sin. I'm sorry.
Never again. Proving us wrong. Entropy getting us closer to the cancellation of regulation. Albeit still 2 rounds away. Dangerous territory they're looking at. So quite tough to go up against. MVG lost a round. 2 more second chances. And then we're going to match point. Maybe even full Bose Max OT. Desperately probably trying to search for this final hint, the clue to their treasure that would be the victory of this best of 3. If they end up losing match point as well, then it's down to the decider. And hopefully, we'll be getting there in the first place, as Entropy now need to make some better decisions.
Well, Entropy is spread across the map, basement is being untouched, and only the Vigil really roaming. Who could have guessed? But Betty is down just like the Frost. That is not looking good. It's a 2v5, and it's 2 minutes left. What are they doing? That's not how it's supposed to go.
Which not, they're throwing bodies, and it's the worst decision that Entropy here could be making. This could be the last round. This was honestly a huge risk. They took it all on a gamble, on a whim, some even may say. And it's not working out from them. Druid going for below, lowering himself to 35 HP, hoping the Dockstim will be coming in later to support him from the bottom trophy. You notice the Buck, what is he doing? Going for verticality, doesn't hear Druid sprinting from his left. Although the verticality on Solaris is going to be looking beautiful. Ash with the pistol is going to be coming out, although Freddy claims the kill. A 1v3 traded out, and a second one, a beautiful headshot. Although you gotta watch your 6, as of course it's going to be claimed by the IQ, and MolotovGang are going to be claiming this best of 3 today, taking a victory against Entropy 2-0. A very dominant performance. Both scores very close, 7-3, 7-4, and both maps being in their pocket, the right one to be exact. Yes, of course, Entropy, well attempted, although just not well enough to take it. With it, that's going to be today's match finished.
MVG got all odds against them. All they had is a base stack breach summer trophy and a dream, and they made it through. Freddy with an insane try for a clutch up, but of course it's a hard thing to do against Entropy and against MVG. I'm sorry, I mix the teams up today. I am a bit tired, but MVG, they did it. That's all that counts for them. I am very excited to see their matchups next time soon, especially if you're my co-caster. That would be great.
Would be lovely. We're gonna have to let the deciding factors do their job in the meanwhile, though. But still, great matches here. It was really intense. At some point, it seemed like Entropy were absolutely wiping. That was the start of today. Although it seemed that MVG took it into their own hands, really started to change the pace, and with it, they won both of the maps beautifully. Really consecutive rounds, a good tempo they built up, and really just all over the place. A jack of all trades that right now MVG were taking that victory and getting their score, their overall score in their history closer than ever. With it though, it was a beautiful match today. I think those were really intense matches. I love the creativity and the craft that MVG brought to the table, and I'm wishing to see just a bit more of it over to the Entropy. It would be really icing on the cake for them, since it seems like they're a capable team, although just missing some sort of aspect, maybe an extra piece of leadership. Whatever the case is, they're going to have to figure that on their own. And with it, thank you all for watching. Thank you to the viewers. Thank you to the players for making this possible. And of course, thank you to the production in the background. Got to shout out Nanos being just a beautiful producer. Gonna give him a kiss after. And Proxima as well. Void, thank you so much for co-casting with me. It was a pleasure doing your second hands. I hope you enjoyed it, because I personally did.
Yeah,
it was really nice matches. And any closing thoughts, Void?
Well, I didn't expect it, but low-key I did. And MVG might be that perfect opponent to Entropy, who Entropy is the beast of console gaming, and MVG might be their kryptonite.
And with it, sadly not seeing the decider map that will be Skyscraper, but seeing an end to finish up today's best of 3 will be us leaving you with hoping that you have a great rest of your day.
Bye.